At Chalmers, we used our professional learning and collaboration time around our inquiry question. Will using assessment for learning help increase ownership intrinsic motivation for students? For our layout of the year, we followed Judy and Linda's spiral of inquiry model. For scanning students, we used the big three questions and then the inquiry learning survey to assess the responses as a way to figure out if students could explain what they were learning and whether they used a growth mindset. Did they take ownership of their learning and know how to do better? From scan results in the fall, we learned Chalmers students were mostly at the surface level and unclear with understanding what they're learning and knowing how to do better. To focus on improving students to take ownership in their learning, staff chose one subject area to consistently use either learning targets or the assessment arrow. Developing a hunch occurred when staff feedback showed us teachers were either in beginning or just developing their usage and comfort of using the arrow, learning targets, and big three. In order to get to student ownership, in their grade groups, most chose to focus on the assessment arrow and in writing. More importantly, the idea was to use student language and be consistent. Throughout the year, the Stinger staff have been learning about assessment for learning, specifically from Dylan Williams' Embedding Formative Assessment. Also, during collaboration, templates like Glow and Grow were shared for providing students with feedback. Staff took action by using the assessment arrow and creating a writing continuum with student language. Some classes used this as a way to self-assess or show understanding. Also, by walking through classrooms, it is clear teachers took action when they posted up and shared with students writing samples on the assessment arrow and I-CAN statements. We know that clear learning intentions and assessment will impact student motivation. At the end of the year, we gave the big three questions again to see where the students were at. Two very noticeable changes are having zero unclear responses by students about their learning and knowing how it's going. Even more, a large percent of the students are now more certain about how to improve. Then checking with staff, we also had similar results, where staff was now more accomplishing in their efforts to use assessment for learning. As 2018-19 comes to an end at Chalmers, the theme for this year's Glow Anecdotes was being able to collaborate with others and building confidence in using assessment for learning.